What is going on, everybody? It is your boy, Steve. Back at it with another video. And today we're doing my March 2025 monthly check. And for those who are new to the channel or new to my monthly checks in general, it is where we, every single month, rank all the new release films that I watched and the films that people have seen before that I've never seen before, and ranking them from the worst to the best. And then following that, we go into my overhaul, which is the new stuff I got this month. And then finally, we look at the new pictures I have on the ceiling that I drew, which I have one. But before we get into the actual beginning of the video, what's up, guys? Don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel, because number one, it's absolutely free, and number two, also maybe I'll the YouTube algorithm recommend the video to more people, and maybe they could join that jocks. And do feel free to comment your list down below. But with that being said, guys, let's go into and as a point of reference, I saw 20 movies last month, and 17 of them were new releases. So this is definitely the month I've seen the most new releases for this year, both on streaming and in theaters. So with that being said, let's just get into the actual list, shall we? So coming in at number 20, easily going to go down in my top 10 worst movies of the year, unless we have movies worse than this, and if that's the case, oh, God help us. And number 20 is Alexander and the Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Road Trip. So I watched the previous film years ago when it came out. I've seen it a couple times. It's fine, but was anyone really asking for a sequel to this? And this is kind of a requel where it's a sequel, kinda, but it's also a remake at the same exact time. And this film was just pretty bad. This is the only movie this year I've given 1 star and an F besides Kinda Pregnant. Those are the 2 movies I have given an F. And to its credit, what stopped me from giving it a half star on Letterboxd, which I've not given a movie a half star yet, is that this one, I think, does a decent job at representing some Mexican culture in there. But other than that, this is basically just very reminiscent of one of my least favorite movies of all time, Diary of a Wimpy Kid: The Long Haul, where everybody's recast and they're having a road trip that is not entertaining whatsoever, some pretty bad acting, and very painfully unfunny moments. So, yeah, number 20, Alexander and the Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Road Trip. Coming in at number 19, I have The Parenting. So this is a new straight to max horror comedy, and this one was bad as well. I would still rewatch this one a lot more than Alexander and the Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Road Trip, because some aspects I think are watchably bad, and there are some more positives I can think and come up with for this one, where you have some fun, like 2 moments I laughed at that I thought were pretty funny. And I think the main guy that plays William Stryker in X-Men 2 X United, he in here has a pretty funny role. But besides that, I thought it was mostly painfully unfunny. And the final act of the movie goes a little too crazy, too bonkers for me. So, yeah, I didn't enjoy this one, unfortunately. So now, from here on up, I would say the movies are mediocre to I like them, I really like them, or I think they're awesome. So, coming out at number 18, I have The Electric State. It's mid. It's mid. I don't think it's nearly as bad as some people are saying it is, but still, it's not good either. I think the CGI for the robots themselves actually look pretty good, and that might be where the multi-million-dollar budget went for this film, and maybe you can certainly tell that. Mr. Peanut has a fun little role in here, and also all the acting in here is fine. It's not amazing, but it's not great either, from Millie Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt, yeah. But other than that, this movie just bored me. And it is very generic, generic. That's what I just said. Generic and representative of other movies we've seen before, but better. Like, this one feels very reminiscent of Ready Player One, which Ready Player One is a much better movie than this. So this continues to just prove that it looks like the Russo brothers can't do anything besides the MCU, unfortunately. But if you want something on in the background, maybe while you're playing a game of cards with your family, which ironically I did while watching this, it's fine. Coming in at number 17, we have another straight-to-Netflix film, and that is The Lifeless. So this is the newest film with, I forgot what the actress's name was. It is Evie from Descendants movies. I forgot. But she does good in here for her role, but other than that, just a chick flick that I didn't really care for. The main relationship, but other than that, it's just way too long and way too slow. Coming in at number 16, I have Plankton the movie. It's fine. I didn't watch the Sandy Cheeks movie from last year, but I heard how much so many people hated that movie. And from the people that I heard that when they saw this, they thought it was a lot better, but they still didn't think it was good. And I end up in that camp too. I think it was a lot better than I was expecting, but still not really good. I think the animation, I'm mixed on. Some funny SpongeBob movie shticks with the humor. But this movie is called The Plankton the movie, and it still doesn't even feel like he's the main part of the movie. It still feels like SpongeBob movie instead, so, which is false advertising with your title. By the way, if I'm blowing my nose a lot, it's just because I am a little bit sick. Just blowing my nose here. Not like sick, but like my nose is stuffy, so if I'm blowing my nose again, I apologize. It's just, I gotta let it all out so I can talk clear. And also, whenever I talk a lot, I have to do that a lot. So, coming in at number 15, I have Snow White. To its credit, it's a lot better than I was expecting it to be. Still, I don't know if I like it. It depends on rewatch. I think Rachel Zegler does really good in the movie, which I expected going into it, even though she did say some things about the original film I don't completely agree with. I think this is a very colorful movie, so that has that going for it. I think the new songs in the film, so the newer versions of the older songs in the original film and just the new songs in general for this film, I think for the most part are pretty good. More with the original songs that are incorporated into this one. But as for the new songs, just the main song usually by Rachel Zegler from the trailers, The Girl I'm Meant to Be, that goes like that. I think that was the best one, but all the other ones, and also I'm not a big musical guy, as I mentioned before, I believe, so I didn't really care for that side of the thing. So, well, actually, I didn't mention that before in this video, but I mentioned that before in other videos. Gal Gadot completely feels like she's in a completely different other movie. I think if the movie was more campy, I think her performance would have worked, but really it doesn't, unfortunately, which isn't her fault. It's the director's fault, really. I think, and also you can tell this film suffered from obvious reshoots because all the drama that happened with making this film, with them changing the dwarves, all the stuff Rachel Zegler said, so they ended up reshooting a bunch of different scenes in this film. That is pretty obvious that they did that, where in this, literally, you have these 7 bandit characters, which originally were supposed to be the 7 dwarves, and you can obviously tell that they originally were supposed to be in that role, and they are completely not even really a big part of the movie, maybe besides the main leader of the group. So, yeah, it was okay. I didn't hate it. I expected to hate it, so it was pretty surprising. Coming in at number 14, I have Odessa. So this is a new straight-to-Hulu musical sci-fi movie with Sadie Sink, which it was a very weird movie, but it was definitely very creative, I will admit. Sadie Sink does really good in this movie. I think for the musical numbers as well, she sings pretty good. However, as I mentioned before with Snow White, I'm not a big musical guy. So the musical numbers I don't really care for. And this plot is just very odd. If I were to even explain the plot to you now, it still wouldn't make sense. But basically, this is kind of Wizard of Oz with a sci-fi edge to it, but that's still not an accurate representation of what this movie is. So, if you like Sadie Sink, give this one a shot. You might really enjoy this one, but I thought it was just weird and very, very creative and very colorful, but very weird. Coming in at number 13, and from here on up, I'd say I like or love the movies. And coming in at number 13, I have Woman in the Yard. I liked this one. I actually expected to not like this one because of how people hated the ending of this film. And on top of that, before all the controversy came out with the ending, it's Blumhouse, and Blumhouse last year had a very crap year, except for Speak No Evil. I really liked that, and that ended up being in my, like, top 20 films of the year. But, they still ended up having that Blumhouse unannounced trilogy with Afraid, Imaginary, and Night Swim, which I get a guilty pleasure kick out of Night Swim. It's entertainingly bad, and some aspects of Afraid too, but still, I don't overall like rewatching Afraid. And Imaginary, I thought was just really bad. Originally, I thought it was okay, but no, it's really bad. As for this one, the trailers, they didn't really sell me. They seemed pretty generic, and this one does have some unique things about it. I think the way they use shadows in this movie are quite creative, and I thought that going into it with the trailers. I think there's some good performances in here, even though you don't really care for the characters that much, maybe besides the little girl, but you don't really care for the characters. Some I'm having trouble thinking of other positive things to say about it. The Woman in the Yard has potential, possibly, if they were to do more sequels to this, which with the ending, it doesn't really make sense if they did more sequels with this. She has potential, maybe being like I'm not speaking this into existence, but I can see potential with her becoming like a horror icon or something like that. Because she does have a very unique look and design to her. Now let's talk about that ending, and I'm not going to talk spoilers here because just in case if you've seen the movie, just in case if you haven't seen the movie, I won't spoil things for you. But when I was very confused and very mixed on the ending originally when I first saw it last night. Then when I got back home, I started watching spoiler reviews to sum up the ending, and from what I've heard, apparently people take the ending as two different things, where one ending is a very heartwarming, not heartwarming, but very, very like hopeful ending to the film, and then the other one is a very dark, depressing ending to the film that's very bleak. And if they did that on purpose where they have two different endings for people, that is very interesting that they did that. But however, it recently came out or something like that where the ending of the film is actually a dark ending, which I don't know overall if that actually works, because it is pretty bleak and depressing it's eventually revealed what the Woman in the Yard is about. I don't know if what it represents. It's very, yeah. Coming in at number 12, I have Revelations. So this is another straight to Netflix film, but a foreign film. So this year I've wanted to expand my filmography out a little bit more. So I started adding short films to my end of the year list and some foreign films. And out of the 3 foreign films that I've seen so far, I've only seen Love Scam, Ad Vitam, and this. And Love Scam I thought was okay. Ad Vitam I thought was really good, but I didn't enjoy the whole entire thing in the middle where they just focus on like the past before getting right back to the action. And then there's this too, which I thought it was solid as well. I'd probably say it's right there with Ad Vitam for my favorite foreign film of the year. Where it's basically the foreign version of Taken, where you have this youth pastor where a girl ends up going missing and he's trying to find her. While finding her, he ends up, I don't know what that was. He ends up eventually stumbling upon the person that he thinks abducted her. So I'll leave it at that. This movie does take some very drastic changes in the final act of the movie that I thought was an interesting way to go, so I kind of appreciate it for that. I think there's some genuinely intense moments with the actual killer. It's very well acted. Where the movie loses me a bit, I do admit, like, so since it has a youth pastor in the movie, I feel maybe they repeated a little bit too much about how, like, he's trying to forgive himself, if that makes sense. So, and then, like, talking to God and stuff, I feel like that got a little too repetitive in the movie, and also, yeah, it's basically just that. But other than that, still solid little foreign film that, if you guys like foreign films, I would recommend it. Coming in at number 11, I have A Working Man, and simply put as this: if you just want to see Jason Statham wreck some bad guys, then this movie will deliver for you. If you're wanting Jason Statham to do something completely different instead of the generic action movie shtick with his performance in the action, you're probably not going to like this movie. But I ended up really enjoying this movie. I actually saw this at Disney World this weekend when I went there. And I think the action sequences are good. I think Jason Statham does decent at playing the same role again. I think this is probably pretty equal with Beekeeper, for which one I enjoy more. David Harbour has pretty funny little side role in here where he plays a blind man that doesn't think he's actually blind. The villains you certainly want to lose, but they're not really that memorable compared to Beekeeper, so that has that going against it. And as where Beekeeper was very self-aware, the type of movie it was, this one has its moments for sure, but still overall it takes the film very dead serious most of the time, which is a little strike against it. But still enjoyed my time with it, and it's a one-and-done like theater experience with a full crowd. Coming in at number 10, I have Queen of the Ring. So this is the newest wrestling movie, and as you guys know, big professional wrestling fan over here. But this is a little before my era, and before all the wrestling that I know, to my knowledge. So this was an interesting story for sure, because I didn't know the majority about this story. I liked the cast going into this. You have Josh Lucas, and then you have the main girl from Arrow and the CW verse, and I think she does really good in here. There's also some cameos in here. Like, if you're a wrestling fan, there's some cameos by some wrestlers that I think are cool and might go make you go, yeah, it's that person. Wow, that's really cool. And also, I think this does do a good job at being also kind of like a gateway drug for some people to introduce them to the world of professional wrestling without being the world of professional wrestling. Where it gives you all the modern terms like heel, babyface, and some shoots. So it does a good job at that. However, the film does some things where it's not really accurate to real life with who's the good guys, who's the bad guys, and the bad guys in this movie are not really bad guys at all in real life. So that was very, very odd that they had that in there. But yes, some good wrestling sequences in here for a lower budget movie like this. They're shot pretty well. So yeah, thumbs up, especially if you're a wrestling fan. I would recommend this one. Coming in at number 9, I have Death of a Unicorn. So this, from the first trailer, I was actually really excited for it. It seemed really fun. And yeah, it was really fun. It wasn't as great as I was hoping it to be, but it was still really good. Jenna Ortega, Paul Rudd, and Will Poulter in here all do good. While Paul Rudd's character, I do admit, gets a little unlikable later on in the movie with some of the stuff he does. Jenna Ortega basically plays the same character again, but she still does good for that role, I guess. But for me, the standout was Will Poulter. He has a bunch of really funny standout sequences in this movie where he plays this very much spoiled, like, rich, selfish person. And he has quite a few good laughs. CGI for the unicorns, I'm 50-50 on, even though overall I said I liked the looks for the unicorn originally. I don't know. I've started going 50-50 on that, but they're not the best. This film, I think, should have sticked maybe to the formula of horror comedy instead of just going full-blown horror later on in the movie. And as well, there was some missed opportunities in this film that I was kind of hoping that it would go with, where they kind of tease this body horror aspect of the movie, and it doesn't really go down that path. It just is there for an ongoing joke with Will Poulter's character, which at first is funny, but then when you have him keep on doing it over and over and over again, you expect something to happen, right? Well, that doesn't end up happening with this movie, unfortunately. Coming in at number 8, I have the hot take of the month, probably. And I started watching some Alfred Hitchcock movies I've never seen before, and coming in at number 8, I have Vertigo. Now, don't get me wrong, very well made movie, especially for the time. James Stewart does really good in the movie. I like the overall mystery of the film later on. However, where the movie loses me is the beginning of the movie is very, very slow for me. Also, along with that, James Stewart's character later on in the movie, I feel, gets a little too annoying at points where he's trying to find out if he's living the same day again or he's just found somebody that looks like someone he used to know that he thinks is dead. So there's that. But still, really good. I gave it B+. It's just, I think it is a little overrated. But that overrated doesn't mean a bad thing. It's just, yeah. Anyways. Coming in at number 7, and this is probably my favorite B movie of the month. I gave it a B+. And that is Locked. So this is the newest thriller with Bill Skarsgård, Anthony Hopkins. Bill Skarsgård ends up getting locked inside of a car. Anthony Hopkins is the person that operates the car and basically has him there just because he tried to steal the car and he's trying to teach him a lesson. Which Bill Skarsgård in here delivers a phenomenal performance. Anthony Hopkins does really good too in physical form and on the phone and voice calls. Some creative things done with them using the car to their Bill Skarsgård using the car to its best advantage. So yeah, solid little thriller. Now, from here on up, I would say these are great or even more. So, coming in at number 6, I have Mickey 17. So, I do admit I was expecting it to be a lot more, but still, I thought it was really, really good. Robert Pattinson does phenomenal in this at doing a good job at making the characteristics between Mickey 17 and Mickey 18 stand out. The stuff he does with his voice is incredible for that. A really fun side role with Steven Yeun in here. Mark Ruffalo also has a really fun role as well as the leader of the space community, and there's some generally funny moments and some pretty decent action. However, I feel the film tries to do a little too much later on in the movie, where it's commenting on like animal violence, kind of. It's also commenting on the government using people and stuff, and I feel those were all good ideas for individual movies, but having you do them all at the same exact time, it does get a little convoluted in the final act. But other than that, still really enjoyed it. Bong Joon-ho still does great as a director, and yeah, definitely gonna get some Oscar buzz later this year. Coming in at number 5, I have The Birds. As I said before, watched some Alfred Hitchcock movies for the first time, and The Birds I thought was great too. Just the main issue is I do think some of the CGI, the special effects for The Birds don't age so well and don't look so great nowadays, but they're still a threatening force within the movie with the practical effects of The Birds. I think they do a really good job at that. I think the performances are really good, and it does start out very slow, but once you get into the actual bird attacks and stuff, it's really intense, and they do a good job at building that out. So, yeah, you can certainly understand how this inspired a bunch of different people to make films of their own. Coming in at number 4, I have Black Bag. So this is the newest film with Michael Fassbender and Cate Blanchett, where they're a married couple. Michael Fassbender suspects that Cate Blanchett is a part of this whole entire like spy plot, if you will. So he ends up following her and tracking her down to find out if she's a part of this or not. Michael Fassbender did really good in this. Cate Blanchett as well did really good in this. And I think overall the mystery as a whole was really good, and this was a big surprise for me because I was going, okay, spy thriller with Michael Fassbender, let's check it out, and yeah, it really surprised me. Coming in at number 3, easily in my like top 5 favorite movies of the year thus far, and that is Novocaine. This was one of my most anticipated movies of the year, and it lived up to the hype for me. I thought the action sequences were very fun and hilarious, even though I do feel they kind of gave away a little too much of the action sequences in the marketing. They're still really fun to watch. Jack Quaid still does really good as Jack Quaid still does good as an actor, and he does a good job at this role of Novocaine. Overall, it's just a very grounded, like, superhero-esque movie, similar to, like, Kick-Ass and Deadpool. The final act of this movie, which I'm glad they didn't give away this in the trailers, I think was easily the best action sequence of the movie. And the main villain in the movie, while still being very reminiscent of other villains, he does have a low point with him because he's played by Jack Nicholson's son, so he has that memorable part going for him. And I think the overall core romance is decent too. So coming in at number 2, I have Psycho. Psycho I had never seen before, and I claim to be a horror fan, right? So I finally watched it. I've always seen clips, and I always know the iconic moments of the film from the shower kill. Whoever hasn't seen the shower kill, come on now, that's an iconic film, iconic part of like cinema history in general. The iconic twist ending, why he wouldn't even hurt a fly, that's very iconic as well. And everything about this movie I loved. The gray, black, and white aesthetic to the movie, I think certainly adds to it and makes it a little more scarier. Anthony Perkins as Norman Bates does phenomenal in here, and all the acting is as well pretty good. The only issue I really had was the characters that they replaced the main girl with, that dies at the beginning of the movie later on in the film. I feel as if they don't really measure up to her with the interestingness of her, because you followed her for like probably a good about maybe 45 minutes or so you have a little more things developed with her, but you don't have that with the newer characters. But you still overall like them and root for them. It's just that you don't root for them as much as the original character. But coming in at number 1, and easily one of the biggest surprises of the year, and this might be my favorite movie of the year thus far, and that is the Looney Tunes Presents The Day the Earth Blew Up. And I loved this thing as a Looney Tunes fan. It had my two favorite characters, but Daffy Duck is my number 1, but I would still put Bugs at number 2 and then Porky at number 3. But they had a good brother dynamic in here. The animation still looks great, and I want more 2D animation movies like this after seeing this, so they did a great job with that. Story reminiscent of other things, but still the better versions of those stories. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and yeah, my favorite movie of the year thus far, and it's gonna go down as one of my biggest surprises of the year, because I was expecting to like it, but I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the ranking done of all the movies I saw from last month. Now, let's go into the overhaul, which is the new stuff I got this month. So, first we'll start off with the stuff that I got from the family collection. So, I got Lone Survivor with Mark Wahlberg. Never seen it, but I'm curious to check it out for sure. Harriet, I started watching some of this a long time ago, but never ended up actually finishing it whole. So, and it ironically has Cynthia. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing her name. Erivo from Wicked in here. So yeah, I should probably finish that one. Next up, we got Beverly Hills Cop 3 movie collection, which the first one's a classic. I still have yet to watch the 2 sequels, and the sequel that came out last year on Netflix too. I still have yet to see that. Then we also got Nights in Rodanthe. It's a romance movie. That's pretty much all I know about it. So I got. Now we got the stuff I actually got this month. And we'll save the physical media for last. So at Snow White, whether I liked the movie or not, I still ended up getting this really cool, purple popcorn bucket with the diamonds and stuff. So I think that's really cool. As you guys know, I went to Disney, the other day ago. And, I got 3 little Lego keychains. At Disney Springs. So you got the Lego Sonic keychain. You can't really see him fully. There you go. That's what he looks like. So I got him. I got the Lego keychain of Donald Duck, which he's one of my favorite characters in all of fiction. So there he is. He's easily my favorite Disney character as well. And then I saw this Winnie the Pooh one, which I thought was cute. Winnie the Pooh face there. There he is. This Lego set actually right here I got for free because I'll talk about it more in depth, but I got this for free because I ended up buying 1 Lego set. And that 1 Lego set right here is, oh my goodness, it's big. The Lego X-Mansion. So I've already started building it right over there. So that's why you see the box open right there. So yeah, and my dog ended up eating Professor X, so I'm trying to get a replacement right away. So, but yeah, it has Wolverine, Professor X, Storm, Cyclops, Rogue, Iceman, Gambit, Bishop, Magneto, Jean Grey, and wait. Okay, I don't know why, but it doesn't show Jean. Oh, there she is. Okay, and it has a Sentinel in there at the Charles Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters. So glad I got that because I am a big X-Men fan. Probably I would say, that's probably my favorite, maybe Marvel characters, possibly. I don't know. I have to really think about that. All right, some physical media, shall we? All right. Let's get some WWE Blu-rays out of the way because you guys care about those ones the least. So, we have, I'm guessing at least, this Best of Raw 2010 Blu-ray to upgrade my DVD that was over there. And I have 4 of these, because 2 of these I forgot to get last month. So, and they ended up coming later than expected. The other one of that was the John Cena Experience Blu-ray, documentaries. I'm not a big documentaries, but why not check it out, This ECW Unreleased Volume 1 Blu-ray to upgrade my DVD that was over there. So, ended up doing that, and, there's that. And then you also got Falls Count Anywhere Blu-ray. So this is like the best Falls Count Anywhere matches out there for WWE. So I got that as well. All right, now let's go on to TV series. We got the Jetsons complete series, which is the only one I got this month, but it's all seasons. And I watched the Jetsons movie, but I haven't fully watched the TV show yet. So why not buy it, I got blow my nose again. Sorry, guys. All right. So now we'll save all the steelbooks for last because I got a bunch of those for this month. Usually every month I try to get a movie that I missed out on last year. So I added this one to my collection, Sting, and I saw the trailers for this a while back. In 2024, I saw all the trailers and I was going like, oh, this could be a lot of fun. But unfortunately, it did not play in my area. So I was a little disappointed and didn't end up going to check this one out. But finally watched it in this month, and oh wait, I completely forgot to add Sting to the list. My bad, y'all. Where would it go? Hold on, I didn't even realize. Sting would go. I think I would put Sting below Snow White. I'll put it at like. Well, you can't read it, but it would be like number 21, 19. No, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17. No, 29, 21, 19, 8. 20, 19, 18, 17. It would be like number 16 on my list. I apologize. I forgot to add that to the list this month, but it is what it is. Yeah, I thought it was okay. Some of the spider elements I think were certainly creepy. If you don't like spiders, which I am one of the people that do not like spiders, they freak me out. So, I think some of those aspects definitely got under my skin. Some definitely pretty decent kills in there too. So yeah, yeah, it was okay. I wish I liked it a lot more though. We got this Alfred Hitchcock 4K collection of Rear Window, Vertigo, Psycho, and The Birds. Why you didn't see Rear Window on the ranking of all the movies that I saw last month is because I had already seen that movie before, and I think that movie's great. Probably that's, I don't know. That and Psycho are pretty tied for my favorite out of the 4 in this box set right here. But if you guys want my thoughts on The Birds, Vertigo, and Psycho, they're back at the beginning of the video, so look for it there. This is all the 4K steelbooks I have. The newest release, the first like big release of the year that I got from like for 2025 movies that they go for was the Wolfman 4K steelbook, which I was disappointed by it, but I still really liked it. I didn't understand all the hate for it. I liked the body horror aspects that they did in there for the Wolfman, and some good performances in there, but I do admit I was a little disappointed with it, but still overall thought it was really good and didn't understand the hate for it. Next up we have a classic, A Nightmare on Elm Street on 4K steelbook, which this was actually pretty decently priced because this came out recently too. Of course, classic, you can't go wrong with Nightmare on Elm Street. Though I will admit, I do have one issue with it. It's just the last, like, 5 minutes where it tries to sequel bait you. I wish that it didn't do that. But other than that, absolute masterpiece. Quiet Place Day 1, 4K steelbook. Originally, I thought this was my favorite out of the Quiet Place movies, and then on rewatching the movies back to back to back to back, I still have A Quiet Place Part 2 as my favorite. But still, I thought this one was great and really good too, and I think it was very underrated movie from last year. One of my biggest disappointments from last year, and that is Bob Marley, One Love. The reason why I got it was because it was like $18, which that's very cheap for a 4K steelbook. And I wanted to watch it again just in case to see if I genuinely do not like the movie. Because originally I gave it like a B+, but I was very disappointed by it. But then as the like months sort of passed on after I let my thoughts sit down with it, I thought, oh no, I was very disappointed by that. I should have probably gave it a C+. So bought it again just to basically rewatch it to get new fresh eyes to see if I genuinely do not like the movie or not, and rewatched it, and I do like the movie still. B-, but it was nowhere near as great as I was hoping it to be, because from the trailers it looked like it was going to be great, and it didn't end up quite being that. But the main performances by Kingsley Benatar and Bob Marley's wife, I think, were good in the movie. And then these 3 4K steelbooks right here, I got with this deal where you buy 2, you get 1 free. So, and they kind of rob you by having the least cheapest. I mean, They rob you by having the cheapest to be the free one, which is annoying. But the cheapest was Bridge on the River Kwai 4K Steelbook. Never seen this movie before, but it's in my dad's collection, so decided to get my own version of it. So got that. I'm pretty sure it's a war movie, so I have to be in the right mindset to watch that one. I'm probably going to be watching that one this month. Then you also got the Willow 4K Steelbook. I've seen the movie once, and I thought it was really good. It is very reminiscent of like Lord of the Rings and Star Wars with that fantasy edge to it. Brad Pitt, not Brad Pitt, Val Kilmer in the movie is pretty funny. So, I got this so I can upgrade my DVD. It is a really beautiful 4K Steelbook though. And then probably my favorite thing I got from physical media this month, and that is the Killer Clowns from Outer Space 4K Steelbook. And I think this thing looks beautiful. I love all the artwork they did with that. And it's a cheesy B movie. It's self-aware how dumb and ridiculous it is, but it's a lot of fun. Alright, so that is the, why am I blanking out? That is the haul done. Now let's show off my new pictures I got on the ceiling, and I only have one, so let's see that. And I got that Mickey's Merry and Scary picture on the ceiling with Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse. So I think I did a really good job on that. Let me know what you guys think. But with that being said, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this March 2025 monthly check. Be sure to stay tuned in for next month for the April 2025 monthly check. And with that being said, guys, I'll see y'all next one, everybody. Peace.